Hello. The more precise your communications, the better your results will be. There's this really nice model in Tony Robbins' book Unlimited Power, which I thought would be worth explaining today. What you do is you imagine you've got two hands spread out in front of you like that. This is the right hand, this is the left hand. On each of the thumb and finger here, there's a imprecise piece of communication, and on this hand, it's how to deal with it. So this is the thumb, this is the little finger. So if I start with the little finger, so universals are things like always, every. So every type of this car is unreliable, or all of them are this, that, and the other. They're generalizations. So what you would answer that with is you'd make it more specific by saying what all, what everyone. There's no exceptions. What never different to that. So you're turning the universal all or every into, well, maybe not all then, just some. Okay, which ones precisely? And you can make it much more precise. This one is where someone says something along the lines of, I can't cold call, or I can't do that, or I mustn't do that. So basically these are limiting beliefs, and people are expressing a limiting belief, and that will obviously affect their performance. So if you go back to that finger there, you'd say, well, let's turn it around. What happens if you did do that? Or what would it be like if you could make those calls, or if you could do this? So what you're now doing is you're reframing it. You're taking something that's a limiting belief where someone's saying they can't do something, or they shouldn't, or they mustn't, or they must. And you're saying, well, what if that wasn't the case? What if you could do that? And again, that becomes empowering now, whereas that's limiting. Verbs. So that would be an example would be, I don't feel very well. Well, how specifically do you not feel very well? It's all very well saying you don't feel very well, but what's actually causing you to say that? I don't feel very positive. Well, in what way do you not feel positive? What is it that you're thinking that's not positive? Because if you can narrow it down, you'll probably find that there might be one particular thing that's making someone say they don't feel very positive, whereas actually they could feel really positive about all the other things in their life. They could be grateful, have an attitude of gratitude, if you like, for all the other things that they could feel positive about. Nouns. So an example of that would be, this plan won't work. Okay, so what specifically about that plan won't work? This car's no good. What specifically about this car is no good? Again, narrowing it down, because 99.99999% of it might be fine. There might be one little thing. So to say that the thing, whatever it is, the noun, is bad, not sufficient, or whatever, is just too general. And then we come to this one. So this is where people say it's too expensive, or it's too much, or that's too many. Without being specific. So an example might be that your course is too expensive, and you say, well, what specifically is too expensive about my course? Compared to what is the phrase you use? Compared to that course that someone else does. Okay, so that course that someone else does, what does it cover? Is it similar to what I cover? Turns out it isn't. What would have to be included in the course that I'm providing that would justify the price compared to the course that the other person's providing, which doesn't cover these things that you want it to cover? And you can make it more specific. So again, if someone says too expensive, or too much, or too many, you just say compared to what? Where you can use this is, first of all, any discussions in business, any negotiation, and particularly sales. If you're selling stuff, anything, goods, services, you'll get these sort of objections, and it's very easy to be derailed by them. But if you can make these objections much more specific by using these sort of questioning techniques up here, then what you end up with is something that's far easier to deal with. You'll actually find in a lot of cases that if you make the objection more specific, the customer or client will answer it for themselves, and the issue is closed. So it's really interesting. So I just think it's a really good model to be aware of. It's an NLP model, basically. If you're interested in how a business mastermind group or roundtable or advisory board could help you, go to businessroundtableuk.co.uk. You might find that interesting. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found that beneficial.